All right. Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Sunday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your future. First off, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure that you go on and do so. We have 583 subscribers trying to get to that 600 mark, 17 away. We've been at 17 away for a good little minute now, and we've been in this 580 range for, at this point, 2-3 weeks maybe at this point. So if you have not hit the share button yet to somebody that you know, please go on and do so tonight. It's free. And also, if you have not hit the subscribe button, again, it's also free. And hitting the like button, it gets it circulating to more people. So please make sure that you go on and do so. Obviously, I can't force you to, but it would be very appreciative, and it takes very little effort. What are we going to talk about tonight? Obviously, it is Sunday evening, which means it is our week forecast. It is our week forecast for the week of Sunday, September the 7th, going into Saturday, September the 13th. So what pretty much are we going to talk about? We're going to continue to talk about our coastal shower activity as we go through this week. We'll also talk about the potential for that cool to warming trend, highs in the upper 70s, low 80s Monday through Tuesday, warming on Wednesday through Sunday. We'll talk about that. And then we will also talk about some other stuff as well. But those are pretty much just like the main things. Tropics, our future, the week, and that's pretty much it. So what's going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? We have rainfall that goes on from Bennettsville down to Hartsville, Bishopville, going into North South Carolina, over into Barnwell, Olar, South Carolina, going near Hampton, Blountville, Walterboro, Reedsville, going into Harleyville, Holly Hill. And then over here into Greeleyville and King Street, we have rainfall going on all the way there, even into Conway. We have rainfall up there. And then down near the coastal regions, we have rainfall from downtown Charleston through Folly Beach, Kiowa Island, as well as Edisto Beach. If we look at what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we have rainfall going on throughout Florida, going throughout Texas, going through even like the Northeast, from Maine over into Massachusetts. We also do have some rainfall inside of the Four Corners region, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and then even inside the Pacific Northwest, we have rainfall going on over there. Cloud cover for right now, we're actually seeing the majority of that cloud cover go from the low country to the PD to the Grand Strand, also the upstate and the Midlands seeing some low clouds, looking like this. And even as you go up into parts of the upstate and the Midlands, for the most part, actually, there are some clear spots out there. There are some clear spots as there is no rainfall going on in the upstate. There are clear spots. But there is still some scattered cloud cover over there. Most of the cloud cover, again, goes into the low country, southern Midlands, and the PD/Grand Strand. If we move on into our cloud cover for the future, you can see that cloud cover will continue to increase as we move through tonight into tomorrow. Cloud cover goes into parts of the upstate, goes into, again, that low country, PD, Grand Strand area. And then as it moves into tomorrow afternoon, cloud cover actually might try to separate a little bit, kind of like split. Middle gets a bit clearer. Coastal regions get some cloud cover. Western region gets some cloud cover. But upstate, you can see up there again, relatively clear. Parts of the low country, parts of the Midlands, relatively clear. Current temperatures right now, 71 in Columbia, 73 in Orangeburg, 70 in Sumter, and 68 in Florence, 72 in Conway, as well as 75 in Myrtle Beach, 75 in Murrells Inland, 75 in Georgetown, 75 in Somerville, as well as 76 in Charleston, 74 in Aiken, and 76 in Beaufort, Hilton Head Island, 69 in Greenville, 67 in Spartanburg, 66 in Gaffney, 66 also in York, Rock Hill, Lancaster, also 71 over there near Anderson. Low temperatures for tonight, 60 in Greenville, 58 in Spartanburg. We also do have around 59 in Rock Hill, 63 in Columbia, 65 in Orangeburg, 65 in Barnwell, even 65 in Walterboro, 65 in Moncks Corner, and 68 in Charleston, 71 inside of Hilton Head Island, and 64 in Georgetown, 66 in Myrtle Beach. For your rainfall, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch goes for Florence, goes for Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, Moncks Corner, Walterboro, Charleston. 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch goes through to Kingstree, also into Aiken, and then maybe even a quarter of an inch to a half an inch for Hilton Head Island. Half an inch to an inch is possible for somebody. Who will it be, though? That's a good question, but somebody could potentially get a half an inch to an inch of rainfall. For our crazy score at a 16 inside the mild category for tonight, reason why, obviously, cloud cover going on. Also, patchy fog potential, especially near the coastal areas, the low-lying areas. And so that's the reason why we're in that mild category. If we go into the SPC outlook, you can see that SPC outlook for tonight. We do have a thunderstorm risk. Goes for the Midlands over into the Low Country, goes into the PD and the Grand Strand. And then if you move into day 2, there is indeed no threat for any sort of thunderstorm activity tomorrow. Same thing for Tuesday. So tonight will be probably one of our last nights with some thunderstorm activity, because again, now this can change, but again, tomorrow and Tuesday we're not having any thunderstorm activity. The marginal risk of excessive rainfall that we had this morning is also still here. It goes for the Low Country, the PD region, and the eastern PD region and the Grand Strand. For tonight, as we move into tomorrow, we do actually have, or tomorrow we have nothing, but on Tuesday we actually do have another risk for some excessive rainfall. Goes over for Hilton Island to Beaufort to Charleston, Hollywood, Kiawah Island, Allendale, Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, Garden City Beach. Those places have a chance for some isolated flash flooding on Tuesday. Nothing for Wednesday, nothing for Thursday. Let's look at the models now. You can see starting off here at 9 o'clock p.m. Here's the shower and thunderstorm activity that we have going on. If we're going to continue to push this forward, you can see that rainfall will continue. That rainfall will indeed continue as we go through even the evening hour, going to the early morning hours, potentially 6, 7 a.m. And then as you go to around 9, 10, 11 a.m., you have rainfall that moves through. Now, it's getting less in coverage as the day progresses. And even by the afternoon, by 1 p.m., you can see there's barely any rainfall at all. So it seems like the most of that rainfall actually happened in the morning. But then as you go into the afternoon, look at this. You're not seeing really any precipitation. That's just those coastal showers that we get. Even as we go into later into tomorrow during like the evening and the late night hours. And then as we go through the morning hours and the early afternoon hours on that Tuesday, it still looks like that we might be dry. So as we go into tomorrow afternoon, it seems to look like that most of that shower / downpour / thunderstorm activity will be near the coastal region. Everyone inland actually won't really have to worry about too much rainfall. So what about our future? So obviously we've been talking about this, and I've been saying that the coastal regions would have to watch out for some shower and thunderstorm activity as we move through our future. And it looks like that we're getting into that time frame now to where the inland's not going to receive too much rainfall, but it seems like that coastal region will actually get the majority of it. Now, if you go into September the 10th, let me scroll back a little bit here. September the 10th, you can see that shower thunderstorm activity go from the coastal Low Country, go into the Grand Strand, go into the Eastern PD region of South Carolina, and that goes through September the 11th, September the 12th, and then around September the 13th, the 14th, you have that rainfall that goes still in that inland, or I honestly should just say just coastal region just in general, because I mean, it kind of tries to make it a bit inland, but you can pretty much just say coastal region by that time frame, and just from what you can see on your screen. Still 150 hours out, and this is just a low resolution model, but just continuing even more. September the 16th going to September the 17th, September the 18th, the 19th. I mean, high pressure takes over and we look a lot drier. We look a lot drier, and we were expecting this. I've been talking about for the past couple of days. As we go through September the 11th, the 12th, going into the 18th, the 19th, it was going to be drier, and that still seems to remain true as we go through. September the 20th, though, we really can't go any further than that just because it is just too far out, 300 hours out. But as you go through September the 20th and the 21st, that rainfall does decide it wants to try and come back by around September the 21st, 22nd-ish. So we will have to watch out for some more rainfall activity by then. But, again, still 300 hours out. Let's go on now and talk about our week. Our week forecast. So obviously, if you have no idea what I mean by the week forecast, just what we have going on for the week of Sunday, September the 7th, going into Saturday, September the 14th. So here we go, starting off, we do in fact, let me go and drop this. This week it actually will be below average in terms of temperatures. We will be below average, so this will be a cooler week on average. Does this mean that we will not see any warm periods? Absolutely not. But for the most part, it's going to be cooler. Now, what about precipitation? Precipitation actually looks to be relatively on the drier side, especially the more inland you get, the more towards the upstate you get, the more drier it will become. Now, the coastal regions, like I said again, coastal regions will get the majority of that rainfall, and that's why they have a higher risk and a higher risk just of getting some above average rainfall, and that's just because of that rainfall that we have at the coast. So what's going on in terms of our temperatures first? And when I say temperatures, I mean I just want to go to temperature anomalies real quick. But we're going to start off here. Obviously, cold front moves through. As the cold front moves through tonight, and everything really starts to get cooler, as you get through September the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th. Now, once you get to around the 12th, things might start to get a little bit more warm, especially in the upstate, but for the most part, things stay relatively cool. And then as you go into next week, things start to warm up. So we most likely, potentially, will have an above average temperature week next week. But we're just talking about this week. And then one other thing that I do want to go on and look at is our actual Weather Prediction Center forecast and what's going on for the next 7 days. Let me go over here to the southeast. And you can see right here, South Carolina is not going to get too much rainfall except for those coastal regions. So 1 inch to 2 inches for like coastal low country. You have barely, if any, rainfall at all over here inside of the upstate. The Midlands not getting too much of that rainfall. And again, just the majority of that rainfall will happen near the coastal areas, as most of that moisture will be along there. And so that's pretty much all that I have for this week. I mean, just for like the next 7 days. It's relatively quick what we talk about for this week, but we're not going to talk about really any in-depth temperatures, because I mean we've been talking about in-depth temperatures for a long time now. I think we even talked about it last night. So if you want to see that and see what in-depth temperatures I could be talking about, go into last night's one, because I believe I talked about it there. And if I didn't talk about it there, it was Thursday night. But that's all that for the week. What about the tropics? Obviously, nothing going on for the tropics. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. And so that's all that I have for your actual forecast today. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris, who says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope your day was good. We had some thunderstorms today in Moncks Corner. Please hit the like button and subscribe button if you have not. Also hit the share button with everyone." That is absolutely correct. If you have not hit the like button yet, make sure that you go on and do so. It's free. We've had 13 people tune in. 13 people tune in. And we only have 5 likes. I know. We've had 13 people tune in. We only have 5 likes. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why 8 people have not hit the like button yet. But if you are part of that 8 people that have not hit the like button yet, make sure that you go in and do so. My aunt Lula says, good evening, everyone. Today in Georgetown, we had lots of rainfall and thunderstorm activity. Thank you so much for that weather report over there in Georgetown, and good evening to you. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris also says, still have lightning happening here amongst corner at this hour. Thanks for that weather update over there. My cousin Cheryl then says, good evening, weatherman. Hope all is well, and good evening to everyone. It rained a little bit in Philly today, but the weather was nice. Keep up the good work. Love you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that weather report, and thank you so much for being here for tonight. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Lovely day here at Walk today. Refreshing. The full moon, lunar eclipse in Pisces tonight. Today/tonight. I hope I said that correctly. I probably didn't, but powerful astrology transit. Again, I'm not the most informed person for when it comes to the astronomy part of the weather, but in terms of, obviously stuff that happens here, obviously I am, but astrology stuff, not my strongest of strongest suits, but I do know some stuff. I do remember us talking about the lunar eclipse that we were expecting, or that not that we were expecting, but other places were expecting. And then Mr. Chris says, wow, this is going to be a great week. Well, I'd say definitely if you're inland, it's going to be cooler and drier. So if you like cooler and drier conditions, yes, I definitely would say you would have a good week. But if you're near those coastal regions, it's going to be a bit warmer. It's going to be a bit warmer, and it's going to be more muggy, and more moist, more rainfall. So I will say it will be kind of just wherever you are. Trail says, okay, you're a smart young man. I know. Thank you so much for that. Let me go and give you a round of applause for that. And so that's all that I have inside of the chat for tonight. Let me go on now and talk about the 3 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, what in the world am I talking about? I'm talking about Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about those locations is because we have people from those areas that watch me almost every single night. So that's why we go on and do this. But let's talk about Raleigh first. We have low temperatures tonight at 59, high temperatures tomorrow at 78, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 58. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow. In terms of severe weather, there is indeed no severe weather that is expected for you. Just as you go through the next, just as you go through tonight, as you go through tomorrow, and then also as you go through on Tuesday. Now, for excessive rainfall, you actually do not have a threat for excessive rainfall either. Then for Philadelphia, we have low temperatures tonight at 54, high temperatures tomorrow at 74, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 54 as well. No precipitation is expected. And there's also no excessive rainfall that is expected either. So no severe weather, no excessive rainfall, nothing like that. Now, as we go into Duncan, you have low temperature tonight at 59, high temperature tomorrow at 83, and low temperature tomorrow night at 61. There is no precipitation that is expected. No severe weather is expected. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is expected. So that's it for those 3 locations. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? A high pressure system is bringing mostly clear skies and cooler temperatures across most of the eastern U.S. to the mid-south. A stationary front will produce thunderstorms and heavy rainfall across the Florida Peninsula to the immediate southeastern coast. Severe thunderstorms are possible across parts of the central and the southern plains. We do have frost advisories that are out over inside of northern Minnesota as well as northern Wisconsin, and then also inside of Michigan. Then even as we go into parts of Pennsylvania, you have some of that freezing, frost going on over there. And then even some air quality alerts going on inside of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon. And other than that, there is actually a dense smoke advisory that's going on over there. It's going to be low visibility, difficulty breathing, and easily susceptible to exertion over there inside of, I believe that is over there. That's in the National Weather Forecast Office of Hanford, California. Near like Mammoth Lakes, California, just to north of Bishop, California, and just east of Oakhurst, California as well. So they're going to have some dense smoke over there. And so that's all that I have for that for tonight. Let me see what else I have. We have anything else inside the chat? Nope, we have nothing else inside of the chat. So now that that is out of the way, top fans for tonight. Mr. Chris was at number 1, Trey was at number 2, and then my cousin Cheryl was at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. So that's all. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the forecast tonight. Like I said, if you have not already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, share with all the people that you know. We are at 583 subscribers, trying to get to 600. We've been in this 580 range for a long time now. So definitely would be a great time to go and try and get out of this range, as we move through. But again, like I said, I will be back tomorrow morning with our Monday morning forecast update. Hopefully everyone has a fantastic start to your week.